Doctor Who Anniversaries, my experiences. Hello and welcome to this week's video. Since we're in the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, I thought it would be a opposite time to make a video talking about my experiences with the anniversaries over the years. Obviously there's been a number of notable anniversaries in Doctor Who history. I just want to talk about what I think of them and what I experienced at the time. Now, the first anniversary, of course, was the 10th anniversary, which I was not born for. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I have no personal experience of the 10th anniversary. Obviously, my only experience of the 10th anniversary is watching the Three Doctors, which I saw. Well, I may have seen it on the Five Faces season, but I have no memory of that. I was very young. My first real experience of the Three Doctors was in the early 90s via the VHS release. It was back Christmas '92 in Australia, I think. I like the Three Doctors, and I love the Three Doctors. It's still a great anniversary story and lots of fun. But other than that, I have nothing to say about the 10th anniversary because I wasn't there. Now, the 20th is a different matter. I was still very little. I don't know whether or not I watched the Five Doctors at the time. I mean, I wasn't a fan at that time. I watched some Doctor Who. I have vague memories of some of the Davison era, but I didn't become a fan until like Christmas '86. So it was just something that was on TV. The only thing I really remember about the 20th anniversary, I think I remember, apart from like seeing some of that season, I'm fairly certain I did see Snake Dance. I'm fairly certain I did see Enlightenment. That's about it. I don't know whether we watched the Five Doctors. The only thing I really remember about it at the time is the Radio Times cover. I remember it being on the front cover, and I have a very, 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 very vague recollection of my mum and dad talking about it and noting that the first Doctor was not actually the first Doctor because William Hartnell was departed. Now I ended up seeing the Five Doctors. Whether or not I saw it at the time, I honestly don't know. I have no memory of it, so I don't know. But I saw it on VHS in the late '80s, about '88 or something like that. And I love the Five Doctors. You know, I bought the VHS, I bought the DVD, I bought the VHS, I bought the special edition VHS, I bought the special edition DVD, then I bought the proper DVD. I don't like the special edition, I have to be honest. And I have no doubt I'll be watching the Blu-ray if they ever get around to releasing season 20. I love the Five Doctors. In my opinion, it is the best anniversary special. As much as I love the Three Doctors, I do think the Five Doctors edges it out in terms of the nostalgia of it and just being what an anniversary story should be. Now, the 25th anniversary, I was very much around for and very much aware of. I was already a big fan at that point. My fandom was in full swing. And of course, the big thing was season 25, which is one of my favourite seasons. Loved it then, love it now. Remembrance of the Daleks is, of course, one of the greatest stories ever. I enjoy all the stories from there. Greatest Show is another absolute classic. And we got tons of stuff. I mean, we got lots of publicity, really, for a show that the BBC was doing its very best to try and kill off. We got the 25 Glorious Years book from Peter Haining, which I got for Christmas that year. And still have. Lots more stuff. We got a bunch of VHS releases. Some great ones. Spearhead from Space and Robots of Death. That was a huge one. Really, really enjoyed that one. Day of the Daleks. That doesn't sound right. Was that a re-release? Oh, yes, it was. I was going to say. I got Day of the Daleks for Christmas 1987. How can it be released in 1988? Well, it was a re-release. Okay, fair enough. Spearhead from Space and Robots of Death were the big ones. Really enjoyed that. Got that for my birthday. Loved them. And I got to see a bunch of other stories. I joined a fan club for the first time. It was basically my school's sci-fi club, and it was primarily Doctor Who for the most part. It was a lot of big Doctor Who fans, and I made some new friends. And one of those friends, I got a whole bunch of stories from, the Daleks, the original Dalek story, the Mind Robber. What was the Pertwee? Oh, the Demons, Horror of Fang Rock, Black Orchid, Earthshock, Attack of the Cybermen. Great stuff. I mean, that was the first time I'd ever seen like Hartnell or Troughton or Pertwee. I mean, I suppose I must have seen them on the Five Faces, but I was like 5 or 6 then, so I didn't remember them by that time. Is that not really the point? But yeah, 1988 was a pretty cool anniversary year, considering that things when the show was basically fucked the year after. The 25th anniversary was not bad. Now, the 30th anniversary, of course, was 1993, and that was a very different matter because the show was off air and had been off air for 4 years at that point. Despite that, and the disappointment of the Dark Dimension, my God, that was a right fuckabaloo, wasn't it? The Dark Dimension, the 30th anniversary VHS special, for those who don't know, that we were supposedly getting. It was going to have all the Doctors in and be released on video, and then got cancelled in a month. I remember, and I mean, this was the days before the internet. I remember getting at this point I was subscribing to Doctor Who magazine, so I remember getting like Doctor Who magazine, the subscription one. Oh my God, Doctor Who's coming back! They're doing a 30th anniversary special. Oh my God, yes! Oh my God, yes! And then the following month's issue came out, it had been cancelled already. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah, that was weird, dude. That was so disappointing. No, still, 1993, the 30th anniversary, it wasn't bad, as I recall. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of releases. There was a lot of physical releases. Certainly more than we've had this year, I would say. We were getting loads of VHSs. If you're in Australia, like me at the time, we were getting loads of repeats. They were repeating a lot of the classic series, like early in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning or something. And I got to see a whole bunch of stories that I'd never seen before, specifically a bunch of early Tom Bakers and a bunch of Peter Davisons. I mean, I may have seen those Davisons as a kid, but I hadn't seen them for a very long time, and I'd never seen a lot of like season 13 stuff, like Planet of Evil and Android Invasion, Seeds of Doom, which I'd never seen before. I'd never seen any of those stories before. Seeds of Doom was particularly awesome, and they were doing the early Davisons, of course, season 19, season 20, I think, Arc of Infinity and stuff like that I'd never seen before. I think I do believe that was also the time when ABC showed Kinder Part 4 the day before they showed Kinder Part 3. Oddly enough, the story actually made more sense that way, but never mind that. We were getting loads of books. We had the New Adventures going. I think there was that big arc that they had going in the New Adventures at that point. The alternate history arc that ran for 5 books, from Blood Heat to No Future. There was somebody messing with time and causing different realities and different timelines and that. Blood Heat was a world in which the Silurians had won during the Doctor Who and the Silurians, and they'd basically taken over the Earth in current time. Conundrum was set in this weird little English village where very strange things were happening, and it turned out that it was actually the land of fiction. It was a sequel to The Mind Robber. I really liked Conundrum. That was a good one. And it eventually turned out in the climax in No Future, which was a a fun one with the unit in the 70s unit and the brig and that. It turned out that the antagonist was the meddling monk. There were some pretty decent new adventures during that time, and we were getting VHS releases like all the time in 1993. We're in Australia. We got perhaps my favourite release of the year, Sharda. That was the very first time that I got to see Sharda. I loved Sharda. I've always loved Sharda. I loved it even from the original VHS release with the Tom Baker narration. That was probably my favourite release of the year. And that in itself, even though it was actually released the previous year in England, it was in Australia in '93. That in itself was a fantastic 30th anniversary present. You know, a story I'd never seen before, but that nobody had really seen before. I love Sharda. We also got the Aztecs that year. I got that, I think, for my birthday that year, which was a Hartnell story I'd never seen. We got Earthshock, but I don't think I got that because at that time I could only afford some, and I already had Earthshock via a pirate video that a friend had taped for me. We got the Demons. I don't think I'd ever seen the Demons before that. Oh, I had. Of course I did. Yeah, I'd seen it before. But we got the Demons with a recolorized version. Another one I had never seen before was Image of the Fendel. That was a very enjoyable one. I don't think I bought some of these. Again, I could only afford certain ones, like at birthdays and Christmases for the most part. And a lot of them I already had on VHS, so I didn't buy them. Terror of the Autons, again a recolorized one, I got that. Silver Nemesis, the extended version, we had that in Australia. Again, the Dalek set. The Dalek set, I think that was probably a Christmas present, at a guess. Australia, so it was September '93, so I imagine that was probably I don't know. Or maybe I bought it myself at that point. I don't know. We got the Dalek set though, which had the Chase and Remembrance in it. I've still got the tin box set that you got it. I've actually still got that on my bookshelf. I think I've showed that once or twice. So we got a lot. We got a lot of releases. We also got the documentary, of course, for 30 Years in the TARDIS. I think I got to see that at the local fan club, which I was still going to at that time. And end of the year we got Curse of Peladon and the Silurians, which I absolutely loved. That was one we got. I got that for Christmas that year. So we got a whole shit ton of stuff. Even with the show being off air and the disappointment of the Dark Dimension, we still got a whole load of stuff in '93. That was a pretty good anniversary to say the show was not there. We got repeats, we got tons of VHS releases, including some really special ones like Sharda. So I kind of, even with that disappointment, we got the documentary. Even with the Dark Dimension, it was still kind of a cool year. I'd say it's cooler than the 60th has been so far. I mean, but by the time this video comes out, maybe we'll have got something. But the 30th was a hell of a lot more exciting than the 60th has been so far. Let's put it like that. Then comes the 40th anniversary. Now that was 2003, obviously. What was there in 2003? Not a lot. I mean, I wasn't into Big Finish. I've never really been into Big Finish, so that was not something that particularly bothered me. What did we get in Australia? Because the big thing, of course, came towards the end of the year, and we got the announcement of the show's return. I don't think that would have been as exciting as it was if I knew then what we know now. But there you go. We got some releases. You got some VHSs. The books at that point, I think they were still going, but I'd kind of largely ditched them at that point because they weren't really that interesting to me. Um, There wasn't. There was a few. There was a few VHS releases, not particularly exciting ones. The Mutants. I mean, yikes. um, we got a tin of we got like the master tin of Colony and the Time Monster. I did get that. I've still got that tin again, like it's a tin set, like the Dalek one. We got the Ambassadors of Death, which I'd never seen before, so that was cool. I really enjoyed that. I still really like that one. Um, and we got Reign of Terror. Mind you, I don't know whether I saw that at the time, to be honest. Invasion of the Dinosaurs we didn't get. Oh, we got the Hartnell set as well, which was probably the big one in 2003. We got the Sensorites and we got the Time Meddler and the Gunfighters. Didn't like the Sensorites, liked the Gunfighters, loved the Time Meddler. I would say 93 was probably a better anniversary than 2003. Even with the announcement of the show's return, it was a bit crap, 2003, to be honest. Not the greatest anniversary. And of course, then we had the 50th, which was 2013, which again I'd say was a pretty good year. We got a bunch of the DVD releases were kind of trickling to an end, but I think the Moonbase was one of those, one of the last ones. We had with the animation, which was really good. And we were still getting a few other things like Shardar finally on DVD, which I was delighted to get. Because the big stuff came towards the end of the year. We got an anniversary special for the first time in 30 years, basically. Even though, frankly, in my opinion, Day of the Doctor was a bit of a damp squib. Even as somebody who kind of likes the Smithy era, I found Day of the Doctor very disappointing. I still find it kind of crap. It feels more like a New Who season finale than any kind of anniversary story. It's just, yeah, not a fan. But we did get the Five-ish Doctors, which felt more like an anniversary story than the official anniversary story, but there you go. And of course, even better, we got... well, I mean, obviously, we actually had a show on TV as well. We got the second half of Series 7, not the greatest of seasons, but at least it was something, again, for the first time in 30 years. We did get, the big thing was, in my opinion, bigger than any of that rest of the stuff, was the missing episodes returned to us. We got The Enemy of the World and Web of Fear, getting two basically fully complete Troughton stories back. That was pretty big. That was a pretty huge thing, especially for us classic fans. And Web of Fear in particular was basically every bit as good as I hoped it was. You know, because we'd seen episode 1 on the Lost in Time set, and the story lived up to that potential. It's one of my favourite Troughtons, one of my favourite stories, period. So that was a joy. That was, in my opinion, that was the highlight of the 50th anniversary. And now we're in the 60th anniversary. We're basically halfway through the year now, and I have to say, so far it's a magnificent damp squib. It's really crap so far, isn't it? I mean, by the time this video comes out, maybe we'll have had an announcement on the next set or something. So far, all we've had this year is one Blu-ray season set, and not even a particularly good season, in my opinion. Probably my second least favourite season of classic. I know Big Finish are fancying around doing something. I don't care about Big Finish. And all else we've had... I know the only other thing we've had so far is Doomsday, which literally nobody cares about. Yeah, this is a this is a pretty shit anniversary so far. Now I know we're getting the specials later in the year. The jury is out as to whether they'll be any good and whether they'll actually feel like an anniversary story or just an RTD era circle jerk. I hope the former, but who knows. We got those rumours earlier in the year from the Mirror that we were getting more animations and some colorizations of some 60s episodes. We've had nothing as yet, not even a trailer or teaser or anything. So whether that's true or not, God only knows. I hope so. And of course, we keep getting persistent rumors about missing episodes. Whether there's any truth to this, whether there is a fire and that's where we're getting smoke from, or whether it's just wishful thinking, because at this point it's been 10 years since we've basically had anything. I hope so. I mean, I hope things. I really do hope things pick up in the second half of the year. I hope we're going to get some more decent Blu-ray releases, preferably of some good seasons like 20 and 16. I'm hoping we are going to get some animations. I'm hoping we are going to get some colorizations. I'm hoping we're going to. I hope we get some missing episodes. And I hope the specials are at least halfway decent and not just a circle jerk of the Davis era. All of this may be a vain hope. I suppose we'll only know by the end of November, really. I hope it's going to get better. So far, it's crap, I have to say. So far, it's the worst anniversary ever. Even worse than 2003 so far. It's terrible so far. I would say 2003 was probably the worst anniversary year. Before then, so far this year is beating it. I hope it gets better. Look, don't get me wrong. I want them to ramp shit up in the second half of the year. I hope they do. I really hope we're going to get some stuff that we can all get excited about as well, and not just New Who fans or Tennant fans. I hope we can get some good stuff. I hope we are going to get animations and colorizations, and I hope they have managed to wangle some missing episodes out of some private collectors' backsides. I hope all of that is true. I hope by the end of the year I can look back and say, hey, this was actually a pretty good anniversary year. So far it sucks, but I hope that's going to change in the next 6 months. I guess we'll always have to wait and see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my weekly rambling this time. Just talking about various anniversaries that I've experienced and haven't done. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.